You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. This is one of your hosts, Sophia, and today I'm interviewing Brittany on her birth journey. And so let's jump right in, and you can just go ahead and tell the listeners a little bit about you and your family, and then we'll start with your pregnancy journey.
Okay, we're gonna have to pause because she just literally woke up.
Of course, I'm keeping this in. Okay, we're back. I'm going to keep that little bit in there because I think it's perfect that the baby wakes up as soon as we start recording.
Of course.
Okay, so you were going to introduce yourself and your family.
Okay, I am Brittany. My husband is Mark, and Harper is now going to be almost 9 months on the 5th. Me and Mark are both from Sonoma County, Petaluma, is where I was born. He was born in Nicasio, and we met 10 years ago and have been together on and off, and got married August 7th, 2020, right in the heat of COVID, which was totally insane. And it ended up just being a super small gathering with our closest friends, actually on Mark's family's ranch in Nicasio. So we got married, and we think that's like right around when we got pregnant, actually. So we're not so we're not sure exactly when, but it was very soon after that we found out that we were expecting Harper.
Were you open to being pregnant, or were you kind of like caught off guard, or
no, I was like ready. I've been ready for a couple years before that, but yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to be a mom from like the very beginning. I have had that just desire, and I was like one of those kids that always had a baby with her, and I had all the state of the art. Like, I made my mom buy like an actual stroller and an actual car seat, and like, so from the very beginning I was always fascinated with babies. And so when we got married, I had already gotten off birth control, kind of was prepping for my body beforehand, and just was like really putting it out in the universe. I didn't honestly think I'd get that pregnant that quick. Are we good? Sorry, she hit the screen. Okay, sorry. Her hand just went right around the screen. So wedding night came around, and things were intimate, and we think that it was shortly then, or so yeah.
Nice. And so what was the beginning of your pregnancy like? How did you feel? When did you tell people you were pregnant? What was that like?
We were so excited. I was honestly super shocked that it was that quick. I told my husband, and he was like, well, there goes our honeymoon phase. Like,
right.
We just, we're really just excited. And everybody was so shocked, especially our family, because it was a month later that I found out, and we pretty much told immediately our family, like our immediate family, that we were expecting. And so people were just so excited and thrilled.
And then how did you feel in your pregnancy? Like that first trimester, what was that like?
The first trimester was really hard. I was pretty sick. I was really nauseous. I also have experienced migraines and headaches like my entire life. And so the influx of hormones raging and all that, it was pretty intense. The first trimester, I remember living off of veggie tempura and just like white rice and miso soup, because like that was all I could really stomach. And yeah, it was just a hard first 3 months. I was expecting, to just feel so good, and just you're just so excited, and you just feel like you have, just there's so much magic inside you, but when you feel that terrible and consistently, for weeks, it can be really depressing, because you're just like, there's no end game, this first time around, you're just like, pregnancy is so new, and it was just like the unknown, and I was like, am I gonna feel this my entire pregnancy? So it was, sometimes it was just like very hard, mentally challenging to not feel great, but also to feel so well, at the same time, because you're growing this human. So it was just a very interesting time of emotions, because I was just overjoyed, and filled with so much love, but at the same time I just felt like shit.
Yeah, like how could something this good feel this bad?
Exactly, seriously.
Yeah. Was there anything that did help with the nausea or did help with the migraines, for anyone listening who's like going through the same thing?
Yeah, well, I don't know, I had this like really weird taste in my mouth at all times, and so I found like these like ginger chews that like I could suck on, and that kind of helped my nausea, because it kind of, I think, changed my brain of like I was sucking on something, so it was like making me get off like my brain from away from the nausea, because it's so debilitating. Your mind is just thinking about nausea 24/7. And that, and just soup. I mean, I lived off of broth and stuff, and then I ended up taking Zofran a few times when I was super sick, and so, but yeah, I mean, just trying to eat anything that you could get down was really, because you feel super sick, but not eating, it makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
And I mean, and you gave me like really good tips of kind of keeping nuts by my bed, or a type of snack like in the middle of the night, because I had to pee constantly. And so just like making sure that like I had constant like little like crackers next to my bed, or something that I was like snacking on. That really, I think, did help me, because going those long periods at night without food, I would wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, like I feel like I've been hit by a truck.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about for the migraines? Was it just kind of, you just got through it, or was there anything that really helped you?
Yeah, I mean, they did prescribe me a medication that was okay for being pregnant, but I just didn't feel comfortable with it ever. So I mean, I just kind of like did what I usually do, is with the cold compresses. I mean, my mom would come over and just like make sure that I was, in a dark room, and I would like whatever I needed, sleeping, making sure that I'm just trying to hydrate. Honestly, the best thing for a migraine for me is always closing the door and just trying to sleep. And so that's like what I would just have to do. But yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable taking the medication that they had given me.
And did you end up having migraines your whole pregnancy, or was it just in the first trimester?
No, actually, it was it's honestly surprising, because since I've gotten pregnant and stuff, my headaches have been the best that they've probably ever been.
Oh, good.
And so I would get headaches here and there and stuff like that, but no, I really did not get migraines past like the first trimester. So yeah, I felt very blessed to not be dealing with that throughout my entire pregnancy.
Yeah. And then at what point did you start to feel better?
Honestly, it was like probably like 2 weeks after my first trimester. It was that I started to like feel like a human again. And yeah, so it was, I think, honestly, yeah, it was like 10 days or almost 2 weeks. And, yeah, I just like my energy started to come back, my nausea settled. And yeah, it was just like, hallelujah, I made it. Here we are.
Now you're in
Now
that
it's time
time where you're like, oh, the magic that's in me matches how I feel finally.
Totally, yeah. So it was just like such a good like sigh of relief. Like I made it. Like okay, now I can enjoy myself. I can, because I was so sick, and it was really hard because I couldn't even really do yoga. I couldn't, move my body, and like this, you're pregnant and you're like, "Ugh, I just like want to do all of the things of just like feeling good," and like, and so I would just like lay down and just be in like child's pose and like, this is it. This is it today. But so yeah, when the second trimester hit, I felt good, and I, started like exercising again, and I was like really ready to just like embrace and feel good about this pregnancy.
I just see her little fist pop up. And then tell me a little bit about deciding like where you're going to have your baby. At what point did you start thinking about that, and what was your journey to that?
Yeah, I mean, I've just like never been a very conventional person from the get-go. So, and with being the, I mean, this was summer of COVID just hitting. And so everything was so uncertain with what was happening. I just knew like from like for a while, you really gave me some good documentaries to watch. It was like The Business of Being Born, and then Why Not Home. And that kind of really like sparked my just like reassurance of well, especially for Mark, because he is a very conventional guy. And so in my heart of hearts, I knew from the beginning I wanted a home birth or at a birth center. I wasn't even just stuck at home at first. I was, looking at birth centers and options around here. And then, yeah, just like having it be COVID. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want to go to a birth center. I just want to be at the comfort of my home. And I feel like birth is such a sacred place of also just being vulnerable. It's such a vulnerable place to be in. And I really wanted to be able to be whatever version of that myself I needed to be. And I felt like even if I was in a birthing center, that like I like just how my brain is, I would be like, am I like, I didn't know if I would be yelling or moaning or swearing, or whatever. And I didn't want to have to hold anything back. I wanted to just be raw and real. And so like if I was somewhere else, I feel like I would not be that as much, And so yeah, I mean, the journey just to you was even just crazy because I started off with a totally different company and ended up, like giving a down payment and then, talking to somebody else that was in the birthing community, and it just not ended up resonating with me. And like being like, holy shit, like I made a mistake, and I don't want to be with these people anymore, and got your reference and like got a bunch of different references and just went through them, and I just saw you, and I was just like, you just felt like kind of home, and I was like, wow, okay, like I need the switch. And I'm just grateful that they did honor, they gave me like half of my deposit back, and just so it wasn't like all was lost. And but yeah, I mean, the first like couple months were crazy because it was like starting with somebody else, and then being like, I don't want to do this with this person anymore, and then transitioning to you. And so yeah, it was very interesting energetically. And then we met and clicked, and I was like, no, I want to be at home, and I want to
Yeah, I think it's such an important part of your story too, because like for other people to hear that it's not too late. If it doesn't feel like the right fit, it doesn't even have to be like a quote unquote good reason. Like if it just doesn't feel like the right fit, it's never too late to switch,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
trusting your gut.
Totally trusting your gut. And like, it was so interesting because it was as soon as I kind of had given, it was actually, yeah, the third visit. And it was once the money had hit into their bank account, it was like, it transitioned into like just business. And I felt like it was super business-like. And it just changed the energy in our meetings. And I was like, wait, this is not the person I met, at the very beginning, and now you're here and I feel like you're just like a totally different person,
Yeah.
and so, and that's like after they left and I like talked to Mark and he even noticed. And I was like, okay, whoa, if my husband notices, like there's definitely something going
Yeah,
on.
but it could be
And
tricky,
so yeah,
especially
like
if you have a financial investment to feel like, well, we already, put money down, and
committed
like make up
100
excuses and reasons
oh a
why
hundred
you
percent
can't.
Yeah, we had already committed. We already, did the deposit, and we, yeah, I mean, and too, like my husband is, this whole experience was so incredibly new to him. Like being like, he's never heard of like that, really, like that's just like back in the day of like when
Mhm.
people, would go out
We're
in their
much more
car.
civilized now. Like,
Totally. But back then he had no idea. And like when I first brought up this, whole thing, he was like, you're fucking crazy. Like you are crazy. And like that's not what we're doing. And I'm like, that is what we're doing. And I love you. And you're gonna turn around. Like I promise, like you will, but this is what we're doing. And so for me, that was so heart-wrenching for me to be, get him to commit to this, and like this like woman, and then for me to be like, sorry, I changed my mind.
yeah.
Like that conversation for me was just like super heart-wrenching, because I was like, frick, like, I am making him do a complete 180 right now when he's already not on board. And so yeah, it was definitely just a very it was hard. It was a super hard decision. But as soon as we made the decision, it was just like, oh, I felt so much better. Like everything just aligned and just felt like, yeah, it just was just like instant relief. And then like we met you and you came, and it was just like, I made 100% the right decision. And I would have made it no matter what the money out. That's what I told Mark. I was like, yes, it's money, but it's like, this is our story, and like, we cannot let this shape it, and so.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, so then we met, my notes say around like 23 weeks was when we started working together.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else to note in the second trimester of importance to you, or you could kind of jump into the third trimester and how that was?
Yeah, no, the second trimester, I felt good. I was working, and I got my energy back. I felt good.
When did you find out the sex of the baby?
I think that was at our 19-week appointment.
Like the anatomy scan?
Yeah. Or maybe it was like right before that, because during my blood test. But yeah, it was only a couple weeks, I think, before the anatomy scan. And we found out we were having a girl, which I was so excited for. I've always wanted a girl. I've been saving like my baby clothes and all my babies and stuff. So like I was,
So
yeah,
cute.
so I've been like praying for a little mini best friend. Mark was actually horrified at first. He was like, oh my god, two of you, what am I gonna do? But like now he's just like, of course, like totally in love.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, second trimester felt good. Third trimester was interesting because I started getting lightning crotch pretty early on in the third, when she started getting bigger. And so that was just like very excruciating, and I'd never had even heard of that before.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it kind of started to make things more difficult, and like having like normal exercise and walking, just different things, because she would just get on some type of nerve, and it just was horrible.
I wonder if there's an actual medical term for lightning crotch, or if
I don't know, but I literally
OBs in the hospital are like, you have what we would refer to as lightning crotch.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like literally, I remember you say, I was like, I feel like I'm literally getting electrocuted in my hoo-ha.
It's just such a good description of what's going on, lightning crotch.
But it is. It's just like it is, because like you feel like you're literally getting electrocuted. It's just, but yeah. So like that, obviously, was hard on itself. I felt pretty good. Third trimester, but I just started getting pretty big, like just growing, and so yeah, I just like definitely got super uncomfortable, and it was like, okay, first trimester is like sick, whatever. Second trimester, I felt great, and now third, I'm just like feeling very big, very hard to get around. And so yeah, I was just like, I was pretty uncomfortable the last trimester. She was just like really, I mean, she was a bigger baby, so yeah, I just felt pretty uncomfortable.
And then take me to realizing that this is labor. What did that unfold like?
Well, so yeah, I had Braxton Hicks a lot at the end of the third trimester. And so I dealt with those like every single night for weeks. And so I knew what labor wasn't. And then, so yeah, it was May 5th and Cinco de Mayo, which is actually my brother's birthday, and the day I really didn't want her to come. So me and my best friend actually had gone out to breakfast. I kind of felt weird that morning. I kind of was a little nauseous, but I didn't put anything two to two. So we were just at breakfast. I couldn't really eat a lot. And we actually like walked to and from breakfast from her house. So like we walked all the way to downtown, and which I'm probably actually really helped like get everything going. So and yeah, so we went to breakfast, and then I went actually over to my mom's house because our house was actually getting cleaned that morning. And so I went over to my mom's house, yeah, to hang out until my house was done being cleaned. And when I got to my mom's house, I was just kind of tired and just felt like a little weird. And my mom was actually at the park with her dog, and I ended up having my first contraction on the couch, and I immediately like texted my best friend because I was like literally just with her, and my best friend is actually my doula too. So I was just like, I think I literally just had my first contraction, and she calls me immediately. It's like, what? Like, what's going on? Tell me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it was just like totally different. Like it took my breath away. It was like that type of like, and it was super lower. It was like very much in my bladder area. And Braxton Hicks is just, like your stomach is just, tightened. So I knew, I was like, this is so different. And yeah, so it was actually 11:22 when was my first contraction that I started actually timing, which was like I think like 5 or 10 minutes after I got off the phone with her and then called you, and it was like, I think I'm having contractions. So yeah, it was 11:22 that I started tracking, and they were about 48 seconds long at the get-go. And they were like 4 to 5 minutes apart at the very beginning, but almost a minute long each. So yeah, I called my mom and said, you need to get back here from the park, and I'm having contractions. And then yeah, you told me, I called you, and you just told me to track for an hour, and you're like, okay, we're gonna just kind of stay busy, you know, and just like do what you need to do. Like you have time, like, you know, just mentally preparing me to be, you know, in this for, you know, however long it was gonna be. And so I got off the phone with you and just kept timing my contractions because they were so short apart. And it was like 12:47 that they became longer, and they were about like a minute long. And then they were like 2 to 3 minutes apart. And then so I had tracked for an hour. I sent you that, and then immediately I remember you calling and you're like, okay, I'm on my way.
Yeah. I remember where I was too. I was with another family and I was like, I have to go.
And yeah, and so like my mom, I was like, okay, you have to drive me home, like we gotta go. And yeah, like just
Well,
remember
and then
that.
my backstory is that Leah, the other midwife who hosts this podcast, she would have just like a 24-hour period where she would be unavailable in your whole window that she was on call. And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. I've got Emma, you know, like we'll be good if she happens to have her baby that day, you know, that one day you'll be gone. And then Emma woke up that morning before like I had heard anything from you. She's like, I don't feel good. I was like, it's fine. All's quiet here. Nobody's been saying they're like getting warmed up or anything. So then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't have anybody. So when you had first messaged me, I was like, okay, I need to find somebody. So I had reached out to Morgan, who we were students together, and she's a licensed midwife now. And I was like, hey, Morgan, like, do you happen to be available for a birth today pretty soon? And she was like, yes, I'm totally free all day. So Morgan ended up assisting me. So I was in the background kind of like, okay, yeah, go ahead, time your contractions while I try to find a backup midwife. And it worked out perfectly.
Perfect. But yeah, I had this vision of like coming home and like, you know, putting my Nako on and, you know, lighting my candles and my incense, you know, getting the birth stuff ready. You know, I just had like this envision of just like, you know, like having
Like
the
a slow start.
the slow start, just to like have the time to set up my space and, you know, I mean, get ready and stuff. And Mark was at work too, and so I had to, you know, call him and my first conversation with him was like right after I had talked to you, and I just was like, hey, like just letting you know, like today's the day, like we're, you know, like today is like, you know, I'm having contractions, so but like, you know, like just keep working, like I'll see you later, like, you know, I'll let you know if you have to come home. And like I literally an hour later I'm like, are you coming home? like
Why are you here?
I was like, because like this is real, like this is happening. And he's like, babe, I'm already on my way home. And I was like, I thought you didn't listen to me because
oh, that's cute. He, as soon as he knew, he was like, I gotta go.
yeah, he was like, no, babe, I'm already on the way home. But yeah, I mean, like as soon as we got here, my best friend was like, I'm heading over. My mom was here. Like she was a part of my birth team, was my mom, and then Brittany, and then obviously Mark. And yeah, and so I was like, people, you gotta rally, like you gotta do this situation because I can't do anything right now. I was like in the heat of all my contractions and just trying to figure out like how I was gonna get through my contractions. And so yeah, so I was just like, people, get it together, like this needs to happen and I can't help you.
You're like, I've got more important things that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like one of the funniest things because I you know, like we had like a little hospital bag together if we ended up, you know, being transferred or whatever. But I had this envision of like picking out like a really cute outfit for my, you know, like so for my photos and like, you know, but I hadn't done that because I was like, I'm gonna have time. And like what I put on for my birth is so funny to me. So all these photos, like I have like these like little boy shorts on that have watermelons on my ass, and I'm just like, what was I thinking? Like,
that was not a priority at the time.
No, I was not thinking at all. I was just in it, and I was like, oh my god.
That's funny. Because I was just thinking, like, what were you wearing? I just picture you naked, but I'm just picturing the like in the tub part.
Yeah. This was like when I was like trying to figure out, I was going from the toilet to
we tried the TENS unit on you.
Yeah, we did.
I'm having to remember that.
Yeah, we did. Brittany had her tent unit, and so she put it on my back, and which was actually really helpful. Because they were just so strong and so intense, and to get my brain off of, just to have that, like, I mean, I think it was just my brain. It was just like helping like not focus that much. And so
give you a distraction.
Yeah, she did that. I honestly think I had those on until the tub was ready. I think I tried to sit on the toilet to get comfortable, but I just like couldn't. And then I was just like rolling around on the ball and trying to move. And so, like I had those on and was kind of using them for a little bit. And then as soon as like the tub was ready, I was like, get me in it.
Yeah. And then, so how was the water for you?
Oh, the water was so magical. Like, I just don't understand people don't birth in the water. Like, I just like could not ever do it. It just felt so good, just especially just to be able to move around in like that position. I mean, I had to move. Like, there was no way that I could stay still. Like, I was like from my back to my side to I was just constantly moving, trying to like just breathe and like move through the contraction. Eventually, like I had to mark it in the tub because I was having such bad back labor. I was just like feeling it super low in my back, and so I needed him to do the counter pressure, which God bless him. Like, he's just like not a water person at all. He's a Cancer, like total like land sign. And so I was like, you're either getting in the tub or somebody else is getting in the tub, like one or the other. Like, he jumped right in and helped me like, for a little bit, and kind of just helped me get through it. And then I labored in there for the entire time. And your electrolyte drinks were a lifesaver. Those one pink strawberry or whatever they were.
I think strawberry lemonade.
Lemonade. So crucial, just to keep me hydrated and stuff. And then honestly, like I will probably have like 7 jugs of this for my next labor, but I'm gonna have, because miso soup, it was honestly the most gratifying, easy way to keep myself with, because that's one thing that I've always struggled with from since I was little, was like, I'm not classified anemia, but like I've always felt like I'm on the border. And so like I've always had to make sure that I'm always eating something, snacking. Like, it's just like who I am. Like, I'm always snacking. Like, I just have to. I don't eat big meals, but I just eat like little small meals and snack all throughout the day. And so I was super worried about going into labor and stuff, that like I was gonna feel weak, or get weak. And so I remember us like, because I was like, I want to make sure that you guys were all fed. And like everybody was like eating, especially Mark too, it's like, y'all gotta eat, like. And so we ordered sushi, and like y'all got sushi rolls and like whatever.
My like favorite food.
And I got like 7 or 8 like little cups of miso, and I just remember just drinking that the entire time. And just drinking broth is just like so healing to me. And it was just such a game changer, because you don't have to think about chewing. It's just like liquid, and it was just like, it made me feel like I could like really get through labor.
It sounds
and
like
so I'm gonna have to get
on miso from the beginning of your pregnancy all the way to the end.
Seriously. But that was just like so crucial to have for me. So I'm pretty sure I pushed for an hour.
I have done an hour and a half.
Okay, an hour and a half. I got all of a sudden the urge to poo, and I was like, I feel like I needed to go to the bathroom. But like obviously didn't. And yeah, then just got like the urge to start pushing. And yeah, I mean, it felt so good to start pushing. It was like relief. But then I also have this like memory of just like feeling like my butthole was going to shoot off into the other universe. And I was so worried about it. And I was like, I'm not worried about my vagina tearing. I'm worried about my asshole never recovering.
Completely going inside out.
Totally. I was like, it's going somewhere else. Like it's gonna be gone. And that's when Morgan actually was like, I can give you counter pressure. And she started doing that. And I was like, oh my God, where's this been? Because it was like I could now completely focus on pushing. You know, it completely changed my pushing because it was
instead of like holding
now
back and being fearful of pushing too hard, it gives you something to push against. Yeah, a lot of women really like that.
Oh my God, I was like, yeah, it was the biggest game changer. I was like, this is it. And I could totally focus on that. And it was just the biggest game changer. I remember like one time like me like starting to push and like Morgan was like, you know, doing something else. I was like, counter pressure.
Nothing else is as important, please.
Or be like, I just need this, you know, and it really did make a whole lot of change. It just was like, I'm just really grateful for that because I think it really got me being able to do what I needed to do. So yeah, and then and then I also was like very open to using a vibrator as well. Like I read a lot about orgasmic birth. I just, you know, read so many women's different stories. And honestly, like for me, I was like, I will try whatever I need to try to get me where I need to be, you know? And so I was just open to the idea. I honestly wish I had remembered but earlier because I didn't really remember till I think it was like almost like kind of too late because I was starting to push, and like that obviously is just so I mean that's just like you're in it to push, you know. And so it's it really did help me kind of, it's not even that it feels good, it's just your mind is just like it goes into a different place. Like your mind, it's like kind of the TENS unit, you know, your brain goes somewhere else and helps you let go a little bit more. So I did that for a little bit, but it was the contractions and stuff were so intense at that moment, it was too hard for me to hold on to it. So I was like, I remember just like giving it to somebody, like I'd hand it, I'm like, hold this, and then like, you know, and then I would have to like push and like ground down and then be like reach it for it back. Like give it back to me. But I couldn't hold to it because it was like I had to grab somebody's like hand and like squeeze it. Like that was like something like that was like my holy grail, was squeezing like the towel or somebody's hand or whatever. My knuckles were literally sore for like 2 weeks after because of how much squeezing I was doing.
Yeah.
That I was like, are my toes ever going to recover? Because I was kind of in squat position, and like, you know, your toes are just like grounding down, and I was like, oh, I'm so my poor joints.
Yeah, it's a lot, which is why the water helps, like give you a little bit more buoyancy.
Totally.
Yeah. What do you remember about her emergence or when your waters opened or any of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super cool to watch the video, you know, to go back, because she was almost birthed in her sac. It wasn't until her like second shoulder popped through that it broke. So that was like super cool. And yeah, just to see her like little, you know, hand pop through, and I mean, just that you're underwater. So she's just hanging out, you know, for a good couple minutes because, you know, you're slowly pushing her out.
Mhm.
And so, and God, just to get through that like ring of fire. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know, not know how women don't be in water, because that was just so crazy, and just all that feeling, you know.
Mhm.
And I like just like having that water like lubrication, you know, it was just crucial. But yeah, just seeing her, yeah, kind of like pop out, and just like her eyes were wide open the entire time. She was looking around as she was just hanging out, you know, in in the water. And then yeah, I was in kneeling position with one leg out at this point. And yeah, I just did like the final push and kind of turned away. I at first was so just like disoriented and stuff. I like was just like, get just somebody grab her, you know. And but you were so amazing, and you were like, no, Brittany, like you do this, because we talked about that, you know. I was like, I really want to catch my baby, like really want to be the one to like bring her to my chest. And so you like just gave me that second of just like, you know, no, Brittany, like you can do it. And so yeah, I like literally just reached down and pulled her up to my chest. And she was a little blue and in the face, and like had this very interesting like she kind of reminds me of like a little seal, like how she came out looking, because her lips were like perched and she was just like sucking like a fish. And yeah, she was a little blue, and we were kind of having a little hard time figuring out her heart rate and stuff. And so like we got up to stand up, and you were trying to see, you know, hear her heart rate, and my umbilical cord was so short, so I could barely reach her I couldn't reach her to my chest. I could barely get her to my belly button.
Mhm.
And so I'm just like hunched over, you know, holding her. And
And
then you were like,
for any of the like medical professionals or, you know, midwife students listening, we were having some funky heart tones too at the end there and pushing. We were getting heart tones like into the 80s and 90s, and she would recover, but we were just kind of keeping a close eye on her at the end there.
mm-hmm,
And so the way she looked when she came out was um, like secondary apnea is what we would call it, where she had an issue in the womb. And so we're also seeing it on the outside where she was a little stunned. And
mm-hmm.
so we were keeping a close eye on her, you know, coming around.
Yeah, there was at that point, I remember like me pushing, and like I think um in I was just leaning over the tub kind of, and just I think I was on both my knees at that point, and you were like, okay, we have to change positions, because yeah, you were kind of getting a little worried about her heart. And then I think I opened one of my legs, and I think it gave her a little bit more room. And then everything was like, okay, we're good to go. But
Yeah.
yeah, it
And my,
definitely
my
was.
notes say that like the last half hour of pushing, her heart rate was fine the entire time. It was like
Yeah.
this, you know, period of time where it was a little funky, and then we found a better position for you.
Yeah, it was, yeah, exactly. Like you were like, we gotta get you into a different position, and I did. I think it was like I put my one leg out, and it gave a little bit more room or something, and then we were good. But yeah, so yeah, we just moved quickly to the bed, and I kind of like was just like rubbing her, and
Yeah.
she
And the
instantly
reason
perked.
we decided to have you go is because at a minute her apgars were about a 4. Her heart rate was kind of low, and she was just, you know, not fully coming around. So that's when we were like, okay, let's get out of the tub and get to the
Yeah,
couch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got to the couch, and like I honestly was like, I think as soon as I sat down, and like her heart rate became normal, and it was we got like a heating pad because she was a little cold, and but then she was totally like, I mean, she was alert the entire time, like her eyes were awake. I mean, yeah, she, from her being in the tub being born, she was wide-eyed and awake, but yeah, she was definitely just a little slow
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah. And typically we would probably have you stay in the tub and give any resuscitation she needed in the tub, which she ended up needing none. But it was because your cord was so short, you're like, if I sit down, she'll go under the water. And we
Yeah,
didn't
no,
want you just like standing there in the tub. We're like, okay, let's get you seated somewhere.
totally. It was so short. Like I just remember like thinking it was gonna like I just couldn't see it, and like but then I remember reaching and I'm like, I can't pull her up anymore. Like and it was like literally just to my belly button. I was like, wait, what? Like and so yeah, we got on the couch and every thing was good. Like she didn't need any resuscitation and all that, and thank God. And yeah, I just like had those first like moments of just pure bliss and just like you did this, like you got through it, and it was just so magical. And yeah, it just was like such relief that she was here and she was like okay and safe, and we did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
You and her, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you remember about your placenta?
Oh my God. Here we go, guys. Yeah, well, I remember you just being like, when you're ready, like you got a little bit more pushing to do. And so yeah, pushed it out. You were standing right in front of me, and just here comes a bunch of blood. Just shoots out. Like literally Mark was like, it was out of a horror scene from a movie. Like it just went everywhere. And yeah, poor you, like literally down your legs, on your shirt, just like everywhere. And
I've never been so covered.
I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? And yeah, I was just like, holy shit, that's a lot of blood. And it was like I was still had more to go because it wasn't even out of me yet. And so I did another push and it finally got out, but then it was like a whole nother wave of blood just came out. And it was definitely I just felt like water, like it just felt like a huge like gush of water just like came out of me. And yeah, I mean, everybody was just like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I never felt like I mean, I guess I got white. That's what Mark had said. Like, he's like, you're white. Like, are you okay? But I never felt sick. Like, I just didn't. I mean, maybe later on, like as the time progressed, I started feeling like weak and stuff like that. But like when it was happening, like I never was like, I'm gonna pass out.
You were in danger. Yeah.
And you like were just like reassuring. You were just like kept asking me like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Like, and I just said, yeah, I feel okay. And so it was more of just like having to watch the whole like just massacre that just had happened like everywhere, like the rug, like there's just like shit everywhere. It's all on you. And
for anyone listening who understands what this means, Brittany lost about 1,800 cc's, and 500 is considered a hemorrhage. But how I midwife, I've yet to give Pitocin to any of my clients. I've given it as like an assisting midwife. But the most important thing to me is that you feel okay, because Pitocin is for stopping an active hemorrhage that is not stopping on its own. And you had a lot of blood loss, but it stopped. It wasn't continuing. And you're like, I feel fine, and yes, of course you feel shitty later because you lost a lot of blood and you're basically super anemic and you're going to have to rebuild everything. But I don't like to administer Pitocin unless it's, going to be a life-saving drug.
It was definitely like, I think the most shocking thing was just what, just seeing, poor Mark and, everybody was just like, holy shit, you lost really a lot of blood. But yeah, I was still drinking. Like, I mean, I think somebody had given me some bone broth, and so I was like still being, I was still making sure that I was getting nutrients and stuff even after, right away, to make sure that I didn't feel, weak and stuff. And so yeah, after that saga, we had to move to the bedroom because we needed to get away from this massacre. And yeah, we just, did the weighing, and she was 8'8" and 20 inches, and she was just a beautiful, healthy, rosy cheek baby. And yeah, it was just like so magical just to like see, Mark get to like weigh her. And yeah, I mean, she was just very like blushed and just super rosy and just looked like a really like healthy, beautiful baby from the get-go. And yeah, the one thing I do remember is which is so interesting for me, is I never peed once during my entire labor, which I'm a constant peer. Everybody knows that about me if you're in my life. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, Brittany has to go pee again. Like I go pee like every like 2 minutes, or it's just like a thing. And so for me not to go to the bathroom that entire time was really interesting. And then I remember feeling the urge, like I have to pee so bad, but I couldn't pee. And so that was a little hard for us. I remember you like trying to like, get me to go. And yeah, there was just something that like was stopping my body from being able to. And if it was just really excruciating. And it's like you're sitting on a toilet right after you gave birth. It's not the most comfortable thing, you're open, and like the gravity itself. So I remember like I was kind of heartbreaking at a point, because I was like, my baby is over there with Mark and my mom, and I'm having to sit on this toilet trying to pee, because it was a good, I think, like 45 minutes that, from like me like getting off the bed, like coming back to the bathroom, me trying, on and off to try to really go, and like forcing myself, like I had to go into this like new like deep meditation, be like, you have to pee, like you need to pee. So that was, yeah, kind of a hard thing to do like right after labor. But yeah, I mean, just so incredible. It was just like having her here. It was just like, oh.
Yeah. What was your postpartum like? What was nursing like? I know you have a mastitis story or two.
Yeah. Mastitis twice in 10 days. It was brutal. Yeah, breastfeeding was a freaking journey. I mean, holy moly. I honestly did not expect it to be that difficult. I still to this day, like I've talked to lactation specialists and whatever. I mean, people say her latch is good. It might be just like a shallower latch, but like no tongue ties, no nothing. But she latched good from the beginning, and like it was never like that. But my nipples just were so sore, got so cracked. Yeah, it was a really hard journey at first. And so yeah, I got mastitis, and I had like 104 fever for 24 hours and a migraine, and you're nursing a newborn constantly. So it's just like it was really hard.
Yeah.
I honestly like was like,
correct me if I'm wrong, but you went to go sign the birth certificate at 2 weeks, and the next day you had mastitis. It like happened every time you left the house, huh?
yeah,
the first time it was when you signed the birth certificate at around 2 weeks, and then the next day you had mastitis. And then I think I was visiting around a month, and you were asking me, oh, at what point can I like go to the store and things like that? And I was like, well, just start slow and see how you feel, listen to your body. And I think I had met you at your mom's house because the cleaners were cleaning your house. And the next day you had mastitis. I was like, clearly your body does not like you leaving the house. Like you just need to hunker down and rest more.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to see mastitis in a mom who's like, no, I've literally just been in bed. They always report like that they did something unusual, like in terms of exertion on their body, and that it was potentially quote unquote like too much for them.
Totally. Yeah, it was definitely like yeah, my body was just like slow down, which it's like very not an easy thing for me. I was like, so
but the first round we were able to send a doula who stayed with you to take care of you.
Yes, Allie, was just a godsend. You had her come and spend the night and let Harper, she took her for the night, and so like me and Mark got a night's sleep, and she would just come in when she needed a nurse, and just gave me so many tips on breastfeeding. Like, she was like, well, right now it looks like you should just be doing like the football hold, which was like such a game changer, just like because of like the pressure on my nipples, just like switching it in that position. And then yeah, she was just the sweetest ever. Just brought me bone broth and just would make me tea. And gave me so many different remedies. You guys, both of you, for mastitis. So I was putting cabbage on my boobs. I was putting probiotic paste on my nipples. Every time she was done nursing, I was taking like baths every couple hours for 20 minutes in Epsom salt. I was just like taking 1,000 pills and eating raw garbage.
Like all the stuff is so much to be the one that is responsible for that. It's like you have to let go of the mental load. So you need somebody else who feels confident handling it, which usually isn't dads. It's like it's nice to have somebody else who's like, I got this. Like I got you.
Yeah, and like it was just so sweet because Ollie came over, and then it was like my mom came over, and like it was just like a team effort of like, then my mom was like, okay, like I know what we need to do, and like she was just like led her the way, and she was like, okay, now I know what we need to do. And so like, yeah, we got rid of it, and it was like 5 days of 3 or 4 days of pure hell, and then it was day 5 that my like symptoms were just like way better, and my boob wasn't rock hard or anything. And then the second time I knew what to do, so I was like, here we go again, baby, like we're gonna do it again. And that time I think it was like only 3 days of symptoms, but yeah, so it was definitely like, that was just like, I really didn't understand like how hard the breastfeeding journey would be. I was like really questioning, like, am I going to be able to do this? Oh my God. And then we can't forget about how my milk didn't come in until day like 6.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
After that I hemorrhaged because my milk. And so we actually got your friend's donor milk, and that was a whole nother process because Harper was, cluster feeding and constantly eating because she wasn't getting anything but colostrum.
Who, by the way, for anybody listening, you can't see the video, but Harper has been nursing the entire interview. So the girl likes to nurse.
Seriously, she is a boob barnacle. And yeah. So can we pause?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was coming to a breaking point of not sure if my milk was going to come in. I was super defeated. I was also not sure if I could produce milk because I've had breast reduction, and so I didn't know if that had affected anything. And yeah, so it was just super defeating because, you're waiting and waiting, and your poor baby, is now getting on day 5, and you're like, my milk should be coming in. And so, yeah, it was just a hard time. I remember reaching out to you and being like, what if she needs something in the middle of the night and, I can't provide. And so we ended up doing, like, Mark had to do, like, he felt like it was a milk drug deal. It was like at 10 p.m. at night, and he went to this random house and picked up a bag of donor milk. And but gratefully, the next day my milk did come in, and
so you never had to use it.
I'd never had to use it. No. Yeah.
It was just like a security blanket knowing it was there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was like, in the middle of the night, I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, if she, is, because she was starting to get fussy, and she was like, not, you could tell like her needs weren't being met. And so I was like, I can't go to sleep tonight and be like, oh well, we're gonna just see how it goes.
Yeah. But it came in and she gained, and I'm looking now, she only lost, it was like 1%, not even 2% of her body weight. So her like weight was not affected necessarily. No, wait, hold on. I'm looking at something different. No, she lost now I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, that's accurate. Yeah, less than 1. So she was doing good in terms of like not losing too much weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember she had like lost a little weight, but it wasn't like something that like we were like super concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember you were like, but she does need to start, gaining weight too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was definitely a whirlwind of emotions the first week, because it was just like, the first 5 days you're just like waiting for it to come in, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to. And then, sigh of a relief when it finally did. And yeah, so, and then the mastitis, and it was I was like, I wish I had done more, preparation for nursing. I really didn't do anything. But yeah, and yeah, I mean, she's been breastfeeding like a boob barnacle ever since. There's nothing more than the nipple that she loves.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for being willing to share your journey. It's what, like when I picture you, the pictures of you and Mark in the tub, they're some of my favorite images. They're so sweet of you two laboring together. He was back against him in the water.
Thank you. Yeah, he was such a trooper, and that was such a magical experience. I was just really grateful that it went the way that it did, and that I was so supported, and I could not have prayed for anything more than
and I don't think we I don't think we ever said that your labor ended up being like 7.5 hours.
Yeah, it was 11. Well, yeah, 11:30 was when my first contraction started, and then 6:42, right, was when she was born.
Yeah, because I had down, it was like 3 hours of early labor and then about 7.5 total. And your placenta came, we didn't mention this either, at like 20 minutes. So it wasn't like super long when it came out. It just was followed by a lot of blood.
Yeah. Yep. So definitely, there's like, there were definitely little tiny, like little hiccups. But it was nothing that like ever made me feel like I was unsafe or Harper was unsafe. And I really applaud you for that, because, I mean, like, for especially like, when she was feeling, a little, or looking a little weird, and I mean, like, not once did you ever like make it seem like we were, like you never made me feel worried. And that's what I'm like super grateful for too. It was like you had everything under control, and you were just like, okay, we need to now do this, like we need to, switch position, but it was like you were just so grounding and so like reassuring and so calm. And even like when, I bled all over you, you were like, oh, okay,
what's a little blood?
Yeah, like, that's okay. Like, which I still knock myself to this day that nobody got a freaking picture of you. Like, like, how did we not get one picture of you covered in blood? And then I just remember you guys being like, Where's your closest CVS or we need a lot of hydrogen peroxide.
Oh yes, this is the one thing I wanted to mention, because usually we keep a space pretty clean. We use all the Chuck's pads and we can contain the blood. But this one got away from us a little bit. And so when I was when I was cleaning up, we used like bottles of hydrogen peroxide. And I'm usually just like spot cleaning things, but there was such a large puddle that I was using so much, and I had the towel on it. I could not keep my hands on the towel. It was so hot. The like whatever chemical reaction, because it like bubbles and fizzes and like pulls blood out. But I think because I've never like utilized it so much, it was hot. I couldn't even keep my hands on it. I kept having to like alternate hands because it was heating up so hot. It was wild.
That's so interesting. And I mean, I you as well for getting like, I mean, there was not one lick of blood. Like it was everything was gone, cleaned up. Like I was just like, how did that even like, I was like, okay, we're throwing out the rug, we're getting a new couch. Like this is, like it's done, like whatever. And then I like come out like the next day and like our cushions are off drying or whatever. But like, there's no, I'm like, what? Like how, like, wow. Like
that's one of my favorite parts is everybody loves when I assist at their births, other midwives, because I love cleaning up. I'm like, my goal is to make it look like a baby was not born here, except for the fact that there's a baby here, like,
literally that's how it looked the next day when I came out or yeah, it was like the next couple of days I came out here and I was like, wow, like our rug is fine. Like I was like, it reminded you guys were like godmothers, just like doing your like little chore cleaning. And like I was like, how did they even do that? Like
we joke that we're glorified janitors.
Right. I was like, wow, oh my god.
Well, it was so good to see you, and our journey's not done because we continue care for the first year, and Harper's only 9 months, so I'll be seeing you in a few weeks.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA.
Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always,
stay wild.